welcome to episode 42 of Pacific Horseplayers right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I am your host, Noah Meagher, back in the OG spot, and the OG boys are back. Myself and Ryan ended up missing last week for very different reasons, but we're both back. Jackson held down the fort with Kyle for us last week, so appreciate those two filling in, as we're obviously going to be covering a terrific late pick 5 sequence on Saturday at Delmar. Features the grade 2 Pat O'Brien. We've seen some of these horses run already, and some new fresh faces that we've seen before, but good field in that grade 2 that we're going to be talking about as the feature, and good sequence overall, I thought, that we're going to be getting into shortly. Of course, before we do that, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. We've got the regular Power Picks tip sheet. I know there's going to be a lot of good information about Travers weekend. I know you two boys covered it with Andy Serling. And there's going to be a lot of good, hopefully, picks on there this Saturday. I know the Picks and Ponies boys just ended up wrapping the show up. They talked about that late pick 5, which is funny enough, an all dirt pick 5. Didn't realize that until halfway through the show that I was watching of them doing that sequence. And then on Wednesday night, last night, Benton and Boozin covered the always good sequence at Charlestown. A lot of Safi Joseph horses he tends to ship there. And I think Skippy's going for his third straight Charlestown Classic. Is it fourth, Ryan? Third straight Charlestown Classic. So, double check the facts right there. So go ahead and check that out if you already haven't. And then you can find out about us at our website right down there, HHHRacingPodcast.com, as Ryan is eating something. I'm not quite sure. I think the last thing he's got Cheez-Its. Last thing to plug, I believe we're going to be doing a live show on Saturday. I know Howard and Chris will definitely be a part of that. I don't know if you two boys have any obligations for that. I know I'm going to be working, which is quite a bummer because I've wanted to do some live shows, but haven't gotten a chance to. But we are going to be doing that live show on Saturday, talking about that terrific Saratoga sequence. And then there'll be other races from different tracks. We've got Woodbine simulcast, Monmouth simulcast. So a lot of great racing that's going to be going on this weekend. Of course, before we get into the sequence, boys, have you heard of the elementary school game / lesson called Show and Tell?
Of course.
Can you explain the concept to me, please?
Yeah, so Show and Tell is typically the students are the participants, and you go around the horn and everyone brings something into the classroom, and I have an item for you guys to judge. Are you guys ready for it?
I'm a little nervous. Okay.
This was gifted to me by my brother-in-law.
Please be a jockey. Please be a lawn jockey.
No, unfortunately not. I wish that was the case. That'd be quite heavy. But this was gifted to me by my brother-in-law, and I wanted to see if you guys had any recommendations as to where to put it on my wall and if you liked it in general. So shout out him. It is a frame. It's got the running, and then what you can do is it's got the slots where you can put Breeders' Cup tickets, Derby tickets, all that good stuff.
Nice.
You
I like it. I love it.
I like that. I
But
say put it on the wall behind you. Where? That's not up to me.
I'm gonna say I need a rating from you guys out of 10.
9.
Like a 9.7, yeah.
Depends on what ticket you put in there. Got to put something.
Yeah.
I gotta put some winning tickets, right? You think I would?
Are you coming to the Breeders' Cup this year, Noah?
I'm not, but I have stuff from last year. I went to the Derby the past 2 years, so I thought I started off with a little throwback to the childhood because I am lowbrow. So
yeah, you are.
Well, if we're doing show and tell, here's mine.
Oh, yeah. That's quite the show and quite the tell.
Ryan, I'm sorry, man. That was.
Dude, I would not be here if that hit.
I really was.
Oh, I know.
So you
I
can
even got my coworkers that I'm like, yo, my boy Ryan is live for a lot of money. If he gets his horse home, he's gonna be alive for like 5 figures easily. And then the horse takes leave, go, and then all of a sudden,
dude, I was in the office chair just going like this, and then I looked up and I heard everybody on the TV cast saying that without dropping too many swear words, saying that Out of Waterbury won. And I was like, all right, they're normally right, so I'll take it. And then I watched the replay. I was like, guys, this wasn't even close.
Yeah, they said that on the right away.
4 of them. It was like 4 of them. They all chimed in. And my goodness, whatever.
I apologize. I didn't bring anything for show and tell, but
that's okay.
Here's a picture of my dog. How about that?
There we go.
Good boy. You bring us some luck today. What's the winner?
We're gonna
Come
need
on.
some luck indeed.
Come on.
Let's go to the chat. Looks like Jim is here. Congrats to Noah and other Delmar Power Pick contributors. That's actually just the guy down here. Fills in for me once in a while. Noah's back in one piece. Yes. Fortunately, I did come back in one piece. Unfortunate that I had to miss the show last weekend, last week. Terry Frank's here. My man, is your back still recovering from carrying me to victory in last Friday's contest? You know, Terry, I don't think it's fully recovered yet. If you can send some Advil my way, that would be much appreciated.
Have you shared the story of why you weren't here last week? It's a heroic story. You don't have to
do a story about your ticket, so I don't feel the need to get super personal.
That's true.
The only thing that matters is that I'm here and we're here. So
that's true. That's right.
That's the most important. Howard's here, of course. Take down the stupid Masters stuff. Yeah, I love the Masters. I can't get rid of that. Tom Espinoza's here. Can put the hospital bill on one of those. That's a good one, Tom. I think we can go ahead and get into the sequence. And unfortunately, I actually left my mouse at home, so I might be struggling a little bit to. That's
a crazy thing to leave at home.
I know. I had a lot of stuff to bring home, but let me get this on the screen because we always start with this. And there it is. First race of the Pick 5 that we're going to be talking about is race 6. The sequence starts at 4:33 local time. It's maiden special weight, going a mile and 16th on the turf. We've got 3- and 4-year-old boys, colts, geldings, you name it. Money line favorite goes all the way to the inside, and the number 1 Big Bill with this field of Calbreds. He's at 2-1 on the line, Rispoli and Glatt. And the second choice is the 5 Fight Back for Fresu and Callahan. Let's see who we're going with to kick off the late Pick 5 on Saturday. I'm going 4-1-3. Ryan's going 4-1-11. And Jackson is going 7-6-1. Ryan, I don't think we can start. We're going to have to kick things off with Jackson. He's going with Kiss for Lulu, his boy KK, and Brinkerhoff at a nice 10-1.
Yeah, look, I don't know what you guys thought about this race. I thought it was almost impossible. I didn't love this race too much, so I just didn't want to settle for anyone too short. I know Big Bill probably ran the best race coming out of the common race, where I think 5 or 6 are returning from, but I also thought he was supposed to run a little bit better than that, and I don't really trust him at a short price in here, so I looked for someone else. I do think there's a lack of speed in here, and maybe Kiss for Lulu could be the one to go to the front. And look, his comeback race, I should say, he broke on top going 6 furlongs, and he went to the front, and then horse that came around him, and he ended up getting a little got himself into trouble. He had to steady and lost position. Then he got bumped again, steadied again, going to the far turn, and then just never really ran after that. So I like that he was at least quick in that spot, and now he's getting back to his preferred distance and probably service too. All his better races have come going 2 turns on the grass. I think he'll be forwardly placed. He's got that tightener under his belt, and it's a bit of a long shot pick here, but I do think with Kimura on, they're going to be very aggressive in a race that doesn't have a whole lot of speed, and get him forwardly placed, see what happens, because look, he's running those turf numbers as a 2-year-old. And the 62 buyer isn't too far off what it's going to take to win this thing. So I got to assume he's improved a little bit from 2 to now 4. And if he can get that up to more of a, high 60s, low 70s, I think he can be pretty competitive in this spot. So I'll take him on top. Don't love the pick, but I do like the value. I think we're good.
Yeah, and I think if he does what you said, I think you might even like him a little bit more. I know today there were 2 turf races that were won wire to wire. I think they were actually the 2 turf sprints.
They were.
And then the route at the end of the day, you had a leader that was out by like 8. I think in general, this is probably about the time where speed tends to play a little bit better as we kind of go on towards the end of the meet. So like I said, I think if he's close, hopefully the blinkers off doesn't put him, in too far off of it. But if he is close, KK is aggressive. I think he's got a big shot. I definitely thought it was more wide open than what we've got, Ryan. I mean, we've got the same top 2. I know I like Madman for my reasons, and I actually believe you liked Madman last time. Is that correct?
I believe so. That sounds right. I don't have it in my notes here. Jackson brings up a good point about the pace scenario. That does concern me a little bit. As far as the route race that went on today, the rails were out 30 feet. Yeah, Trusty Rusty was never going to lose that race. But you were able to close from off of it. Those 2 sprints were won on the lead. Madman's going to need a setup, and I think the rail horse Big Bill is far and away the horse to beat. I don't know that anybody's going to necessarily dispute that. Half of this field lost to Vodka, who was like the most they knew horse of all time, with ironically Kent DeSormo aboard. But Madman, I think second off the bench, he just has every right to take another step forward. Again, he is going to need a little bit of a pace scenario. But I like that he came back with a 60. He improved on that buyer from early May when he was sprinting at Santa Anita. And a step forward for Leonard Powell for these English channels certainly is in the picture. And my new friend Armando Ayuso, he's the jockey. So, I'll ride with him to start things off.
Well, you guys know he's been my friend for a long time, even though I've never actually.
Yeah, but you never bet him.
Never bet him or contacted the guy. So it's just I think it might be a little creepy at this point that I'm just such a big fan of Ayuso. But I'm with you, Ryan. That race that Vodka won was very carousel-ish, as I may put. Nobody really did anything, and Madman, he was just trying to close into a race where there wasn't a whole lot of closing, but like he said, he's second off the layout now. I think the extra 16th is going to help him because it seemed like a distance shouldn't really be a problem for him. He was kind of just starting to get going in the final, maybe 16th of that race, and maybe second off the bench and stretching out a little bit. Maybe Ayuso can have him a little bit closer. I actually wasn't super thrilled with the ride he gave last time. It was a little indecisive, as I may put it, but I do like him.
What was wrong with the ride? He got the rail on the outside. He saved every inch of grounds, tipped him out in the stretch. He never had to stop. It was a great ride. He was just way the fourth best horse in that spot.
It's not like he had to stop. It was more of like you could see that he was like, do I go inside? Do I go outside? It was a little bit of maybe that. I don't think he wasn't going to win the race at all, but I do like him, and I hope the 8-1 sticks. I don't know if it is, Ryan, but I think he's worth a wager at something close to that for sure. Horse to beat, no doubt, is Big Bill. I mean, he was the second place finisher pretty handily, I should say, in the race last time with Vodka. Jackson, you've got him third, right? You've got him second. I'll just kind of leave the floor open to comment about this runner.
He's a logical horse. If he wins, he makes sense, but I think you're supposed to try and beat this horse. But, I mean, you get a jockey upgrade, you get the rail. I don't know. I mean, he's going to be way shorter than not way shorter, but he'll be shorter than 2-1 in here, I'd imagine. Like the 2-back number wins by 5 versus this group, probably.
Good.
But he just kind of runs in place. I mean, aside from the debut where he actually passed runners, he just kind of goes out and goes in an oval. So maybe Rispoli is aggressive and gets him to the lead, but I think I think you should try and beat a horse like Big Bill in this spot.
Yeah, and another one that's actually coming out of the same race. Oh boy, that's not good. I might have to go get my charger. Bonneville Jim.
No charger, no mouse. What's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, I'm struggling off the 2-week hiatus. Bonneville Jim, Jackson, you've got him second. He's another one coming out of the race. Like I said, I guess he broke slow last time. I wasn't super thrilled by his performance, but leave these connections off your ticket at will.
Yeah, he didn't run great either, but I thought at least he had a tad bit of trouble and he got further back than he probably wanted to. I think if you like this horse, you're probably supposed to toss last race and just say he wasn't as close as he needed to be. And his race with 2-back gave him a shot where he was closer sprinting and he was put himself into the race a little bit and kind of just ran evenly, giving the impression that he would appreciate the more ground once he finally got it. And he needs break better than he did last time. He needs to run a lot better than he did last time. But as you said, got Mullins, got Barrios. There are things to like about this horse. I got another horse I don't love, but I think at 8-1, he does represent value in a race where you're probably supposed to be trying to beat the favorite in here.
I think so too. We've got 2 more horses to talk about. Ryan, you've got the 11 in third. I've got the 3 in third. One that I think might show a little bit more speed, maybe from the outside and stretch out. It looks like he's probably going to have to if he wants a chance from that 11 post, but 15-1, you got to be liking that.
Yeah, I think it's fair. This horse certainly has to step up in a big way, but I tried so hard in this field to find just a fresh face. That last race, you mentioned it, bit of a merry-go-round for all those common runners coming out of that. I typically hate betting horses out of that, but the rest of this field is just very meh. So I think this one makes a little bit of sense. At least you can look at the fact that this one's going to be stretching out and getting back on turf, which I think is the preferred surface. Mendelssohn, pretty good with turf routers, somewhere in like the 11-12%. The Dam was primarily a turf router, although it did a little bit of everything. So I'm hoping that this one just has a step up. Obviously, you get lower level connections Blinkers off, though, maybe that hints to not going towards the lead, but can still be a little bit forward, just going the sprints to the route. So I just wanted to try and take a new face and get a little bit creative here.
Yeah, and I kind of thought the same thing in terms of a fresh face angle with the 3 War Swift. He's 12-1. I know Georgie P's having himself a pretty good meet. He's got 8 winners out of 41 runners. That stands at 20%. His race way back in July of last year, 62 buyer, 86 time for, man, that's really not that far off of some of the numbers that some of the main contenders have run. He was off for a while. They came back at 5 furlongs. The race that he comes out of was actually a pretty decent race, at least the first 2 horses, Glorious Life and Jackfish. I think we might have, I can't remember.
We did. We all picked Jackfish.
Yeah. Fish was a big favorite that day. And then I think Glorious Life was the second choice, but they got 88 and 81 buyers respectively. So, I mean, those 2 are pretty good horses. He was within 12 lengths of them, which is nothing, super, but stretching out, I think, is going to help. He's got Euro breeding on the dam side, so I think the distance is probably going to help him. But with, like you, Ryan, I think I needed a fresh face. It's kind of 1-4 for me, and then just, a bunch of others kind of on that B or C line. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next race. Before we do that, I'm actually going to bring up this comment. I'm going to let you guys talk about this one while I do go get my charger. Howard wants to know your thoughts on how the Pacific Classic field is shaping up to be. I know Fierceness was a late entrant into the nominations. I believe that was today or yesterday.
Yes. Last night, I believe, if I read it correctly.
We would love to see him out here, that's for sure.
Sure. Jackson, why don't you take it away with how apparently this horse, if he comes out here, just can't be beat because he's just the greatest piece of horse flesh of all time.
Man, I've had like 4 conversations today about horse racing where people are just putting words in my mouth. It's wild. And Ryan, I think we're involved in 3 of them, so this is the 3rd one.
Probably.
Look, I hope he comes out here. It'd be awesome. And I think if Mike Rapoli's Twitter handle is to be believed, I think it's not just they're not just doing it to do it. They're really considering it, and that'd be awesome. I mean, Nice first journalism is going to be really good, and if you're adding fierceness into the mix, who have some things to prove and get back to, but when he's on top of his game, he's arguably the best horse in the country, and that just adds to the intrigue. I don't think it's going to be the biggest field ever, of course, but I do think it's going to be very, very competitive and definitely going to have some implications moving forward for as far as the Breeders' Cup Classic goes.
Yeah, I agree. I think the best thing that could happen for us, at Del Mar and for the allure of the Pacific Classic is to get a horse like Fierceness. Yeah. Personally, I think he's a takeout reducer in that race, which I would be even more thrilled for him to get out here because unless he draws the farthest to the outside post, and even then, who knows? Because he just got that and he folded after an absolute dream setup. So I don't trust that horse whatsoever. Although I think he's obviously a very talented horse. You have Nisos coming in, and you have journalism. Barring any, I don't want to say freakish, but barring any surprises, that's pretty much the field that we're going to get.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, outside of that, we're going to get the normal cast of characters. We're going to get the Miramadis, we're going to get the Tarantinos, we're going to get Midnight Mammoth. Like, we're going to get all those runners that we see out here on the West Coast, and that's all right. Like, we're pretty used to all that. But if the top 2, it seems to be that journalism is, pointing towards the Classic. And then same with Nisos, obviously, with that last prep in the San Diego Handicap. And then you get Fierceness, hopefully, coming out here. I mean, that'd be awesome. You get 3 top caliber horses that are very, very much Breeders' Cup Classic contenders, where you want to rank them in there, case by case for sure. As Noah, we are now looking at the underside of his face. But yeah, I would say if we can get Fierceness, that's a huge get for us. What was your question, Jackson?
Let me ask you guys this. Say Fierceness does show up. We get Fierceness, Nisos, and journalism. Who goes off favorite? Because these are all 3 very popular horses for very popular connections. It'd be very
Fierceness.
You think Fierceness?
I think Fierceness like 6-5. I think Nisos 5.
Let me ask you this: Sovereignty apparently is the greatest horse in the entire world to ever exist.
Correct.
And correct. He's over him twice after he even beat him. You think Fierceness would be 6-5?
Yeah, I think Fierceness has numbers that when he is running his little dream trip soft pace race, he's phenomenal. When he gets everything his own way, he has numbers that stand head and shoulders above the rest of this group. I'll say that, like, Nisos should be the favorite, journalism should be the third choice, but I don't think that's how the betting is going to work. Like, maybe Howard brings up a good point. Not off his last race, maybe Nisus does go off favored, but you're going to have, I don't know. You have a horse that hasn't ever gone 1.25 miles versus one that ran the best race at 1.25 miles last year, and he lost.
Yeah,
like,
I disagree with that. I don't think Nisus will be favorite, but I do think it'll be journalism or fierceness. I mean, those are just the two. Yeah, they're just very, very popular horses.
I'm just trying to think about name recognition, right? Because I know, I mean, if you're on the East Coast, fierceness is probably the favorite, right? But if you're at Del Mar, I think this has got to be with Baffert, right? I feel like that would have to be the case.
I think journalism would be the name favorite over Nisos. Like, as good as he is, he's only run like a handful of times over 3 years. So, like, yes, he's great, and I think he has a huge shot to win, obviously. But I think in terms of just name recognition, I don't know that he's above journalism in that category, because journalism ran in the Derby and he ran in the Belmont and won the Haskell and won the Preakness.
It might not even matter if yours just doesn't even
come
out there, but it's just something to talk about as always. So
it is.
Yeah.
Nisus, journalism, fierceness in that order. If fierceness is the third choice, he'd have to be what, 3-1?
Let me ask you this, Ryan. If fierceness is the third choice, would you bet him at the third choice?
Yes, 100%.
Mr. Anti,
because
you bet him?
I'm anti-fierceness because he needs everything to go his own way, and I don't want to do that at 6-5, 7-5, 8-5, or 2-1. But if I can, well, then absolutely under no circumstances he could be 10-1, and I'm not touching him with a 10-foot pole. Like, Nisos is going to win with like a 112 buyer. Like, Nisos is going to roll in this Pacific Classic, but I would love to see fierceness out here.
Well, we can talk about it when we get there, but we got 4 more races.
We surely will.
So we'll move to that.
That was a good little tangent, though.
Yeah, it was. Next race is race 7. I think you guys can see that now. Sorry, I had to switch things around a little bit. Really struggling on this episode. Race 7, allowance option claiming 20,000. We've got Cowbreds yet again. And we've got another 2-1 favorite in the 1 hole yet again, and that's the number 1, Mr. Disrespectful for Barrios and Martin Valenzuela. Scroll down and see the rest of the field. We got a field of 10, and the second choice is the 5 Kanani at 5-1 for Frey and Labracio, as Ryan likes to call him.
Labracio.
Let's see who we're going with in this race. I'm going 8-1-2. Ryan's going 1-6-10, and Jackson is going 2-4-1. So we've all got the 1 in there. Couple 2s, 4, 6, 8, 10. Looks like a pretty wide open race from our standards. We will go to you, Ryan, with the favorite as always. You're going with Mr. Disrespectful. Speedy type coming out of a nice race on grass, but he's run on dirt before and he's done it well.
I'm sorry. As always, I rarely pick the favorite. You are Mr. Chalk, but I understand. I think where that's coming from, maybe for this week, I guess. But I don't know.
5 texts from you saying "bang, bang, bang" as you hit 4-5.
I think he's like
4-5.
But then, like today, I faded all the chalk, and that ended up biting me in the ass. So it depends on the day, depends on the scenario. It's situations are situational, is my point. But to get to Mr. Disrespectful. The blinkers off project I don't think worked great last time out. No one was going to beat Kings River Knight. Still can't believe Allegado didn't get by. But you come into this spot, he just, to me, outclasses this field. Blinkers on, going to go right to the lead from the inside, and I don't see a whole lot of other early pace that's going to go with him. I know it's not super creative, but I had to find somewhere I wanted to lean in this late pick 5, and I chose Mr. Disrespectful.
Isn't he going to be 3-5 in here?
Well,
he might be.
I was going to throw it to you and have you explain why you got him in 3rd. I mean, I don't think it's really any secret that he's the fastest of the bunch, and he probably won't get pressed a ton. I think maybe a little pressure that could be possible, but
maybe.
Obviously, you got him 3rd. Is it just solely price wise?
This is another race where I don't really love him, but I kind of can't completely pick against him either. I totally get why he's favored in here, and he should be, and he's going to be tough to beat. I don't know. I don't entirely trust him, to be honest. And I do think he's been much lower than 2-1. I think come post time, he's going to be odds on. I mean, how is he not? His last 3 races are all way faster than everyone. He's potentially the lone speed. He's one for one at Delmar. Like, I think he's going to be crushed. And I don't know. I don't love him.
Yeah.
Well, you're trying to beat him with the horse to his outside, Gary Gold. He's got turf form, but he's also got dirt form. He's run some nice races on the dirt at this level. I guess the one concern is he ran, what would that be, 8 days from when he last ran to Saturday. But you're price shopping, and this is the one you landed on.
Yeah, I'm hoping that people are going to see that the one's loose, and someone or maybe a few people are going to be really aggressive and then go press the horse. I think the 5 potentially could be the horse. The 6 has been poorly placed. And then the horse on the outside, Pipey has 2 and adds the Steve Knapp. So I'm hoping maybe they send one to go pressure the favorite, and it could set up for someone from off the pace. And I think this might be the right type who just a really grindy horse. He's going to be coming from way out of it, obviously. And I actually liked his last race. It was Friday when we were there, and he was put himself into a good spot and just he didn't get out in time. And he's not a horse that's going to really quicken and accelerate. Like I said, he's more of a grindy type, which usually translates a little better to dirt. So I'm hoping that's the case for this horse and come from way out of it. He does pick up JJ, which is a positive. And look, Trusty Rusty came back and won today, and he won pretty easily. So I don't, the horses can win off of short breaks. It's not impossible, especially if they're getting the right kind of setup in here. So he's 8-1. I'm going to throw him on top. Kind of hunting for value in this race too.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, he's done it before, maybe not to complete effectiveness, but you see May 17th to May 31st. He was out 13 days, April 6th to 19. So he's done it before. I guess the question is whether he can kind of show his top form in a race where maybe there's not a ton of speed. But I think he's interesting, and you make a good point. I think that 32 claimer for the opener on Friday is going to be a pretty decent race. I mean, Trusty Rusty came back and won today, and then the horse that finished first, Uncle Happy, I think was coming out of an optional 80, I believe.
Yeah,
and that was a pretty good race for the level, I think. So I think he could maybe be live. We've got some others to talk about. I'll throw it back to you, Ryan, because you've got the 6 Sonio Divine. 2-back, broke the maiden on dirt at Los Al and did it well. I guess the question is whether he can match that again or maybe even possibly improve.
Yeah. Sonio Divino, I think really I have to go back to that 2-back dirt effort because that's really the main place to go. I like the way that he finished that race off. It was strong, and he came back to repeat that effort versus winners. Given he didn't win, but it was on turf, he ran pretty much the same style of race. He was just a little farther off of it, but he closed nicely. Again, if a horse presses the 1 in here, it's going to set up for a horse from a little bit off the pace, and I think this is that horse that's going to be kind of stalking and coming from off of it. So I want to take this one underneath. I'm probably just going to be single to the 1 here in like my horizontal sequences, but from a vertical betting perspective, probably I'm with Jackson. This horse is probably going to be odds on.
You think he's going to come from off of it? Because I felt like he could be one of the ones that would be pressing. I guess he sort of came off of it in the dirt race, but I mean, he was pretty on top of that race and some of his other races.
He was, but they weren't flying. The 1 is much faster early than Sonio Divino is. So I think just by nature of that, he's not going to be on the lead. He'll be close, but he's not going to be pressing.
Yeah, I get it.
In my opinion.
Jackson, I want to talk about this horse with you because I know when we did the opening day show with Frank, I know both of us were a little intrigued with this horse. This is your favorite angle. I mean, he was on the rail the whole time, going 1 turn on the dirt opening day, which according to your calculations was a horrible place to be. I was not super convinced by that. I'll admit it, at least the day of. But there have been some winners that have come back, and I'm starting to kind of move to the other side of the argument.
Yeah, I actually bet a horse today coming off with a rail bias on opening day, and she broke really well at the gate and then made a left-hand turn and jumped over the rail and started running in infield. So that was a lot of fun. As far as I actually didn't think he was actually on the rail too much. I mean, he was at the start, obviously, but he was kind of more towards the 3 or 4 path most of the race than just glued to the rail, as some others were that day. He ran fine. Like he can take a step forward off of that. I'm not going to use him here, but he's 20-1. I'm not going to talk anyone off of someone who is.
And that's pretty much the reason why I've got him above the one is I don't want to bet the one. I mean, the one's probably going to win the race, but if I'm getting 20 to 1 on this horse who I liked going into the race and I can find reasons why I like him out of the race, then I'm going to bet him back. And I think Silvera has kind of gotten the short shrift. I feel like he's done better than maybe his numbers kind of appear to be. So I'm willing to
shots, right?
What's up?
He's riding mostly long shots. It's not like he's on chalk every race. He's
he definitely doesn't get the mounts that the Umbertos and the Fresus and the Barrios, JJ, all those main guys get. But he's picking up mounts here and there, and I think he's doing well. So the way that he wins is if somebody either goes with the one or like two or three of them press the one and really make him work. That's probably the only way that he wins. But he's routed. He's done it before. I know he's kind of traded places, beaten up with your two Jackson. Like he beat him one time, and then the two beat him another time. So they've been kind of going back and forth. So I'm going to give him a look at 20 to 1. I know it's a little bit of a flyer, but I do like him a little bit, and I can't pass up the price, like I said, at 20 to 1. I'll go back to you, Jackson. You've got the 4 in second. That's not what I want to do. Let me scroll up to the 4. You've got Speed Grazy. This is a combo that I know for sure has hit twice because it is Ordonez's only 2 wins, and it's DeSormo's 2 wins off of a little bit of a break. It's certainly got some back numbers, and hopefully he brings it on Saturday.
Yeah, another one that's going to need some help up front, but the barn's going well. The jockey's going well. This is a horse for course angle, too. He's never been out the exact in 4 starts at Del Mar, so definitely things to like for this one. Just going to need some help up front. I do like you got a little freshening because he seemed to be going a tad in the wrong direction. So maybe the freshening does him good and he can get the setup he needs in the spot.
Yeah, there's a comment in the chat from a fan, and that is Howard. He says turf starting to get very firm at Del Mar. Ryan, the Del Mar expert, he wants to ask you if you expect the turf to carry speed as the meet comes to a close. I feel like I kind of answered that, but you can give your take.
I don't necessarily think it does. I mean, we saw Notorious win from way out of the pace last year in the Green Flash. Green Flash?
He was also second in the Breeders' Cup sprint. But.
Correct. I mean, the turf gets the turf. I don't know that the turf ever gets more firm than what it is. It doesn't rain here. Like it's firm just 365 days a year. It gets a little worn down. I would say that the main time it starts to play to speed is when they put the rails out at 30 feet. When the rails are out at 18, it's 50-50. But when they're out at 30, the 5 furlong turf sprints, definitely. It's all speed. That's a lot of what we saw that one fall meet where the 1, 2, 3 posts were winning. They had the rails out most days at 30 feet that meet and 27 to 30 feet. And I mean, yeah, you had 1, 2, 3 posts winning almost nonstop, and one of them would get to the lead, and that was pretty much that. So I don't necessarily think that it's all speed as the meet comes to a close. I think you have to pay attention to the rail distance.
Yeah, and I think the inside can still be good at times. I know the winner in the first turf sprint today, what was he, like 35 to 1? Just got the
30
lead,
to 1.
Got the lead in a bad field and took him all the way. There was a 1 to 5 shot in there. Did he even hit the board?
Nope. Off the board.
Terrific turf sprints at Del Mar.
Ryan bet. He said that kind of in a pissed off way.
What did he say?
No. I wasn't pissed off at all by it.
Well,
I don't understand. I don't understand how the 4 wasn't more aggressive, but I was out already in all my bets on the first race. I singled the 6.
We're at 35 minutes and we're going to do race 2. Come on.
This is fantastic. Hey, by the way, Howard brought up a great comment. Cavalieri's back on the work tab.
Cavalieri is back. Ryan, you've got this horse in third. Do you want to comment before we move on to the next race?
On the 10, the Gypsy Cowboy, I absolutely want to comment on this horse. Look, obviously 20 to 1. A lot of things are going to need to fall in this one's direction. But you get Tyler Bays, you get Steve Knapp. This runner's improved in each of his last 5 starts. So just kind of keeps getting better and building on those efforts. He's going to have to take another massive step up here. But, you have a couple positives to look at. One, he's off of 2 straight wins. And both of which are, increasing the margins from the last victory, which I like to see. That means the horse is getting better, rounding into some good form. Again, he's going to need a horse to, press the 1. He's going to need the pace to kind of collapse a little bit towards the end, but he's not impossible. And at 10 to 1, I'll take a little bit of a shot underneath. And if I'm playing verticals in this race, I'll definitely be, keying him under, because when Steve Knapp can get a horse rolling, they do pretty good. Tyler Bays gave me a hard time today because I was supposed to interview Tyler Gaffleone last week for Lush Lips, and they sent me Tyler Bays, and then I never followed up with him. So that was my bad. But hey, that's life.
Quite the error.
Oh, Tyler.
Oh well. Next race,
the
next race on the late pick 5, I think is a really good race. Let me bring up the Equibase. You can see it right there. It's race 8. It's an allowance optional claiming for 80,000. 5 furlongs on the turf. Everybody's favorite. The rails are at 18 feet. I don't know if that I can't for the first race, but this is a pretty good field. I thought a group of 9. Yeah. Morning line favorite goes again to the inside in the 1 yellow card. Kimura and McCarthy at 7-2 off of a very close second place finish. Second choice all the way to the outside. And an interesting entrant, I thought, in the number 9 For All Mankind for Tyler Bays and Johnson at 4-1. Let's get our picks up on the screen. And we are all going with the 2.
Oh, shit.
It's going 2-1-3. Jackson is going 2-4-7. I texted the guys before. I'm like, this is going to be the key to the show for sure. Boy. Jackson, Proofy rides. Boy. I know yellow card, Proofy rides, and Patron d'Oro all coming out of the same race. And you elected to go with the one, as did we, the one that actually finished 3rd of the 3.
Yeah, well, just first of all, this horse has no chance now. Everyone just lost him off. Watching back that replay, yellow card got a phenomenal ride from Kimura. I mean, he did everything you're supposed to do in turf sprints. He ran well. He absolutely ran well. He was just second best in there. And I'd be a little skeptical of him. Just is he going to get as good of a ride in this spot? And then same with Patron d'Oro, just saved every inch of ground too, and was just okay in there. Proofy Rides was hung pretty wide the entire turn. He tried to get closer. It just was never going to happen. He just lost so much ground on the turn. And that young and pretty tough to the last 16th or so before he kind of faded a little bit. And, he hadn't run in, 10, 11 months prior to that too. So I think he'd be a little forgiving of that effort. And he's probably supposed to move forward, second off the bench. And as going from an outside post to an inside post, he can rate, but he's not going to be that far off of it. I just think there's plenty to like about this horse. And he makes plenty of sense.
Well, that was just about everything that I was going to mention. So I have nothing.
Same here.
Ryan, you got anything?
No, the fact that all 3 of us, hey, at least all of us do our work, though, because it's very clear that watching the replay back, Patron d'Oro and Yellow Card both had absolutely dream trips, and Kyle Frey was stuck in no man's land that entire last race. So, hey, props to us. This horse has absolutely no chance. To anybody listening, do not bet the 2.
He looks very, very similar to No Cap from today, who did the exact same thing like the day before in July, when she was just so wide and faded a little bit at the end, and then she run today. So hoping that Lenny can try.
One for fun today.
Yeah.
Well, the one that I think you're spot on, Jackson. I mean, the ride that Yellow Card got, I don't think he left within 2 feet of the fence, basically the entire way around. He was running late, almost got to Book Smart, who's a nice horse. I mean, he's a mid-90 buyer type horse, both on turf and dirt. In the back of my mind, I kind of thought they were going to use that to maybe springboard themselves to more of a longer turf sprint. But then I kind of thought, where the hell would he go? I do think he's probably most vulnerable at 5. I guess if he gets another ride like that, he might be pretty tough to beat, I thought. Jackson.
Oh, sorry. I was going to add to your point, where would they go afterwards? He was second in the grade 1 at Kentucky Downs last year. So I'm kind of a little surprised he's here and not going back to Kentucky Downs.
That's kind of what I thought, yeah.
For so much money. I mean, look, he's the horse to beat. I have no doubt about that. He's probably supposed to move forward off of that lowest recent effort. I'm just not sure he's going to be 7-2 as well. He feels like a horse that could take a lot of money in here. I think he might be more 2-1 come post time.
Smells like some vulnerable favorites, I think.
I hope.
I think this is the most vulnerable favorite of the races we've covered so far.
Well, I think it might be the longest favorite, so I don't think you're really, giving out any smart tips by any means. But we can keep it with you, Ryan. You've actually got 1, 2, 3 in your top 3. You've got Encanto. Obviously, you've got much love for Hector Barrios, who's been tearing it up, just putting guys to sleep. I think he's just basically been laughing when they give him these, easy leads when they go 48 and change on this very, very quick turf course. But he's run some sprints before when he's cutting back, coming out of the Oceanside, which was a race that you actually benefited from. I believe you actually picked Game Warrior when we talked with Frank So obviously the race is dear to your heart, and you got another runner coming back in there.
Yeah, look, Encanto, I thought, is just makes a little bit of sense on the turn back. Really needs to step up, but this is one that's going to be most likely finishing late, as he's done in his previous turf sprints. He has a really nice kick as they turn for home. Some of those prior time form efforts have reflected a little bit higher than what the buyer has, so I want to give him a shot. I don't think he's a strong win candidate. I'm pretty sure. Well, up until I saw all of our picks, I was going to be all in on like the 2. But now maybe I'll use a bit of the 3 and whatnot. But this is one I definitely want to use underneath. And there's certainly a chance that if things heat up on the front end, I mean, Hector's going to have this one in the right spot, and I wouldn't even be too surprised to see this one maybe a little bit closer than he's been in those previous 5 furlong sprints out at Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, you make a good. I actually, when I was trying to figure out best bets, I know you guys sent that to me beforehand. I kind of ended up going back through the card just to see, my strongest opinions, I guess, for the sequence. I strongly considered using this too. And then I kind of saw that you guys had him too. I'm like, well, that's probably not the smartest idea, because if we all pick him, then, he's going to be absolutely nowhere. And then I would look like a schmuck. So
a lot of weight.
I did not go that direction. Jackson, you've got the 4 and the 7 in second and third. You've got Tigran, who is it Tigran or Tiger on? It might be Tiger on. Second off the layoff, first off the claim for Miller. You've got him in second at 6-1, and then you've got Jerry Spirit coming out of a really nice allowance race on dirt, and he's trying turf for the first time. So talk about those 2 runners as you may.
Yeah, 7's more of a speed play, first time turf, win machine as far as wins, and there is some turf pedigree here, but he's going to have to prove he can do it over the turf. He's being more of a deeper backup, but I do like the 4 a decent amount. I don't think I'm as bullish on the 2 as you guys. Like probably like 51-49 split between the 2 and the 4. I like the 4's chances in here. I thought last race was good, and I know that was a 32 claimer. That was a really good 32 claimer when Golden Ale just came from absolutely nowhere and aired that race, and got a 91 fire out of left field at 40-1. But he came back last week and got the exact same number and ran second against a way better group. So it kind of validated that race quite a bit in there. And then the runner-up, or the third place finisher, I should say, Delmar Jerry came back and ran 99 buyer on the dirt. So that was a really, really good field for that kind of level. And this horse had some trouble in there and ran well to be second. He was clearly second best in there. And I was going to the Peter Miller barn. They're putting a way tougher field, which has got to be a sign of confidence, I think. He loves his turf course. Rispoli Brothers right back. He's supposed to get speed in front of him. I think there's a lot to like about this horse, and I'll definitely be using him on my tickets.
And they can put him in for 80 because, I mean, they don't think anyone's going to take a 7-year-old for 80,000.
If they do, great. Like we just made 50,000, and if he wins a run second, we made even more than that. So.
And he's probably one of the favorites to hit the board and cash a check, right? So I mean, he can add to the 220,000 that he's already made, and the Miller and Les Blake can pick up a nice check, as they've done several times at Del Mar so far. I'm going to give him a second look because it's definitely not as easy as the 2 as we all make it seem. So I'm going to have to go through and maybe consider some other horses as well to use on the ticket. But race 8, I'm going 2-1-7. Ryan's 2-1-3, and Jackson is 2-4-7.
If you want to jump off, let me know, because that'll instill more confidence in the 2 horse for me. So if you guys change your mind, I'll bet even more on the 2.
What about if you change your mind?
I don't change my mind. I'm betting the 2.
All right. Race 9 is the Grade 2 Pat O'Brien Stakes. It's up on the screen now, 6:03 local time, $250,000 purse.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
The morning line favorite is the 2 Speedboat Beach for Juan Hernandez and Bob Baffert. He's at 5-2. Second choice is the 6 Stronghold, Fresu and D'Amato at 3-1. And the third choice is the number 1 Dr. Mankman, who we've actually already seen at the meet for Rispoli and Glatt. He's at 4-1. Let's see who we are going with in this year's Grade 2 Pat O'Brien. And we've got 3 different horses on top. I'm going 6-2-1. Ryan's going 5-6-1. And Jackson's going 2-6-8. I don't remember who ended up going first last time, but I don't think that we can dismiss Ryan going first because he's got a 20-1 shot. I'm not letting you go first. We're going.
No, I was going to say the 5 is also entered back Sunday. Just keep that in mind.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The 5 is entered back on Sunday.
The 5 and 8 are both entered back on Sunday, so they may not be running.
So that was a little rubbish. I didn't mean to tell you that you couldn't talk. But Ryan, you got a 20-1 shot on top. If my memory serves me correctly, there was a price horse that you liked in the Bing Crosby. What was that? About a month ago, 5 weeks ago, maybe. Lovesick Blues, who I'm quite baffled by the fact that he's not in this race, but you liked him that day and he won, and you got another big price on the board and another graded stake dirt sprint.
Look, there is a name of a horse that is not in this race that I think is the only reliable 7 furlong dirt sprinter on the West Coast that I actually trust, and that's Raging Torrent. He's not here. He's been retired. I trust none of these horses. Like, Dr. Venkman is nice. I have nothing against him, but he drew the rail. That's not an easy spot, and he didn't have much of an excuse last time. If we, watching that race back, Speedboat Beach, I'll let Jackson do whatever there. May Moon's coming off of too long of a layoff. You have Stronghold, who is nice. I don't love the last race. I don't love that he hasn't had an effort coming in here. Going 7 furlongs is tough, but last time he did that off the bench, he came second to Raging Torrent, going the 7 furlong distance in the Malibu Stakes. Awesome Rhythm is in good form. He's feeling himself. He's a horse that can sit just off the pace. The 3 dirt races that are most recent, yes, they're against much lesser, but he's cleared those conditions rather easily. He's improved and progressed. I guess he has to answer that off Lasix question, but I mean, he's 20-1. He's going to have to answer more than a couple questions here. Victor Garcia's had a very sharp meet. Armando Ayuso has been riding very well. I think there's a lot of speed in here that can easily come back to him going 7 furlongs. And Awesome Rhythm has 3 races in his form cycle. He has a lot of foundation that is more than you can say for a lot of the field and a lot of the favorites in here. So I'm going to take Awesome Rhythm to get to spring another huge upset in this 7 furlong sprint division.
That would be quite the upset for sure. He might even be a bigger price than Lovesick Blues, because I think didn't he end up going off at like 16 or 18? I know there was the whole discussion about the CAWs and he was 30-1 at the gate or whatever, but I think he might have been 16-1 if I remember that correctly. Jackson, I want to hear your thoughts because I don't see it, but obviously I didn't see it with Lovesick Blues, and I thought he romped in that race. But I'll leave it to you.
With this horse?
Yeah, you got anything?
No, I mean, he's 20-1. Barn's on fire. He actually ran better than looks on paper last time. He was trying to find room. Didn't get through a couple times, and he finally did, and he won.
I had him last time, too, on accident, I should mention.
Obviously, he still needs to take a big step forward.
Yeah, we'll go to you. I'm a little disappointed in you, Jackson. You're kind of chalking out in this race where, actually, I guess I shouldn't be super disappointed.
I think the other shortest price I have is 8-1 in the other 4 races, so I think I'm allowed one freebie.
Okay, I should probably stop giving you shit. Speedboat Beach 5-2. I have no idea what the hell happened last time. But he was 4th in the Breeders' Cup. He was 2nd in the Santa Anita Sprint Championship. I have no idea what's happened to those races in that weekend in terms of the calendar year. And then he won the Malibu back in 2023. So obviously, if he runs back to those, probably a likely winner, you think?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think this field is that great, to be perfectly honest with you. Venkman, I've seen enough of him. He was supposed to run better, especially last time. That Ryan mentioned, he got a good trip from the rail and just had nothing there. And he draws to rail again, and I know the Glass are concerned about that. Stronghold, I'll give you guys Stronghold. He's a very interesting newcomer. I think it's a 2-horse race between these 2 horses. So if you like Stronghold better, be my guest. I'm not going to talk you off of that one. I just think there's not a lot of speed in here. There's really not a lot of speed. If you think Lovesick Blues is as fast as horse, I don't think he is. What happened last time? You guys raised a great point. I don't know. He obviously bled. He got banned off. But the fact that they're bringing him back somewhat rather quickly, it's only been 3 months. Like, it's not like there's another year layoff. Like, they're bringing him back somewhat quickly. I think that's probably supposed to be a good sign that they think at least that that's past him, that he's doing well enough to run in a spot like this. And he's training phenomenally in the morning. He's watched the last 3 works all come in the gate. He breaks like an arrow, like a shot every time. He's straight out there. Looks really good. The most recent one, 58 seconds, complete stranglehold. I mean, he could have gone so much faster if they really wanted to. So I think a lot of good things about this horse. And also important to mention that Hijazi was 2nd in the Bing Crosby and would have made a ton of sense in here. They're not running Hijazi in this race. They're running him in a much weaker allowance race on Sunday. presumably to keep these two separated. And the fact that Speedboat Beach is in this graded stakes and not a Jazzy, I think says a lot about his chances. So I think he's the best horse in the field. He's definitely the fastest early on in the field. Get him at the front end. Go, go, go. Come catch him.
I really don't have anything more creative to add. I know you don't have him in the mix, Ryan, and I understand the reasons why. The question I wanted to ask you, Ryan, is will there be a specific individual that may bet this horse on Saturday? Do you know if that individual will be there at Delmar?
That's an excellent question. I am not sure. However, if he or she is in the building, there's a very, very strong chance that the answer to that question is yes.
and as stupid as it may sound, that's partially why I don't have him on top, because I just think he's probably going to be at a price that's absolutely unbettable. But I'm with you, Jackson. I think it's pretty much a 2-horse race. I know his Stronghold's Pegasus was really, really bad. I still have no idea how the hell he was 7-1 in that race based off of his numbers before that. I mean, his best number going into that, routing at least, was a 92, and there were horses that were running well into the hundreds, and for some reason he was 7-1. I have no idea why he was that low, but I mean, his Malibu was good. When I first saw the Malibu and kind of the weeks after that, I wasn't really sure how great of a race it was, but I feel like it's kind of been come back to be nothing but good. I mean, we saw what Raging Torrance done. Even Mystic Dan got his shit back together and ended up winning the Blame. I know it was with a perfect trip, but he earned basically a triple-digit buyer after he earned close to that in the Derby. So he matched it. You see Pilot Commander came back and won. So I think that was a better race than I maybe projected it to be. I guess the worry is, where has he been? But at the same time, I kind of trust D'Amato in a race like this. I know he's probably a little bit more reliable on the turf, but I feel like they've always kind of known what they've got with Stronghold. I mean, they had him in some really nice races when he was a maiden. I believe he broke his maiden in the – oh, no, he didn't. But he broke his maiden early on, and then, he ran in really good races just as he was a late 2-year-old and early 3-year-old. So I feel like they always, kind of thought highly of him. Cut him back to one turn in the Malibu, ran really, really well. Obviously was his career best, and I'm just hoping that he is ready to fire on Saturday. And I know for sure that you're going to get a better price on him, regardless of whether that individual shows up on Saturday, than you are Speedboat Beach. So that's why I've got him on top. I kind of think it's 2-6. Jackson, you think the same? I'll leave it up to you guys to any other horses that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I'll talk about the one a little bit.
We probably should talk about the one, because what the F was his excuse last time? That's about as PG as I can put it. I'll just leave it at that.
Look, he's kind of this horse. I don't think he's a win candidate here. I think he's an excellent horse that you can use underneath, but we've seen him run consistent race in and race out. He's won a handful of races, all 3 coming at Delmar. He runs really well to 7 furlong distance, but he's not a triple-digit horse, and I do think that actually, I don't necessarily think that the winner is going to have to get a triple-digit speed figure in here. We saw with Lovesick Blues, I think he got a 90, was it a 96, 98 or something?
Like a 103.
Oh, did he get a 103? I must be thinking of something else.
I thought it was pretty good. The race,
I thought so too. I might be wrong.
After the race, everyone was like, "Oh, nobody showed up." But then,
sorry, he got a 105. Yeah. So ignore everything I said. So look, it might take that figure to win here then, just because of the caliber of the race. So I don't think Bigman has that 103, 105 in his tank. We would have seen it by now. He's an excellent underneath horse. But he might be a little off the deep end in this spot, though. So I like him underneath, but I think there's others that are better.
Jackson, I'm going to leave you the final word, because you've got the 8 in third. I say interesting entrant in the last race because he's coming out of the race on July 20th that was won by See Through It. And he's got For All Mankind, who ran second and presumably a lot better on the turf. And then he's got this horse in this race. I had no idea what to do with that.
I just think there are expectations here. Like, obviously, they've always thought a lot of this horse, and the fact that they're here after he took all that money and was just atrocious last time, I think is a little interesting. He's drawn well on the outside. He's somewhat speedy. Honestly, I'd be a little surprised if he's running in this race. It feels like he's going to be much better suited to run on Sunday in the allowance, but he'd be an underneath type.
I think that
the two's going to win.
Pretty much sums it up. I know Mano rose to the outside. He's got some back numbers. Ryan's old boy Express Train cutting back to one turn. Hasn't been a one turn.
Oh boy.
I know he's 12-1. We talked about Awesome Rhythm. Maymun, I think we mentioned.
Only note on Express Train. I told Jackson this yesterday. When I saw him in the possible entries, I made a bet with Delmar's social media director that if Express Train ran I might have said this in the group chat then. Yeah. You might have to catch me in a kilt on closing day if Express Train makes the starting gate on Saturday.
Are we going to kind of get the whole body view when you do the FanDuel shot?
I'll do it for the FanDuel video. Yeah. I'll do the FanDuel. I'll try and borrow a pair of bagpipes too.
I would love to see that. That would certainly land you some pretty good jobs in the future, I would think. I mean, put that on a resume. I think that's killer.
Yeah, exactly. Dressed in kilt for top pick video. Top pick finished dead last.
I think the other two, Spirit of McKenna, who is a great story. I know he was really, really good at one point, but just hasn't kind of gone on with it. And then Maymun, I think, Ryan, you mentioned him a little bit earlier, hasn't been seen for basically a year and a half. But I don't really see a way that he wins this race off of that long a layoff. And then he's got the other Baffert to his inside. I guess he could win. But Jackson, you were saying something about Zidane when we were talking over text about how they kind of tend to be a little bit more decisive when it comes to picking spots. At least that was what you believed, especially with the entry in Barnes in the Jerkins on Saturday.
They can be, yeah. I'm not saying they're like that with every horse, but I remember what was the Baffert horse won the Derby, San Diego Derby a couple years ago on the second start, and then I can't remember the name, but yes, they can sometimes be a little hands-on. I don't know if they matter for this horse or staying in his backyard, and there's probably nowhere else to run, but that's something to keep in mind.
That comment you made might be a little problem in itself, but that's a conversation for another day. We'll move on to the last race. I'm going 6-2-1. Ryan's going 5-6-1, and Jackson is going 2-6-8. Last race on the card on Saturday is race 10. It is up on the screen now. It is an allowance optional claiming of $20,000. This is for 3-year-olds and up, and this is for the fillies this time. Morning line favorite is the number 10. Lavender Love, David Cohen, Richard Baltus at 7-2. And then second choice is the number 5. She's Misbehaving for Ricky Gonzalez and Gutierrez as the conditioner. Let's see who we're going with in the finale. Another race where we got 3 different top picks. I'm going 9-1-4. Ryan's going 1-4-2, and Jackson is going 8-1-3. So we've got a 15-1 on top. We've got a 8-1 on top. We've got another 15-1 on top. So obviously we think this is a wide open race, and it looks like our picks are indicative of that. Jackson, we'll go back to you. You're going with a horse that is obviously a price. It's a 5-year-old male named Sand to Sea for Bautista and Stute, hoping to blow things up in the finale on Saturday.
Yeah, I was giving Ryan a hard time for picking Bautista today, and I picked him on top in this race too. I like this horse's chances in here. Look, there's another race we're all coming out of a similar common race. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them. And there was a lot of trips to watch in that race where there's a lot of things happening in the turn when the front runners backed up into them. And watching it back, I felt like this horse, I feel like they had a lot of horse coming around the turn. And if Sandicy had gotten through at some point, I think she would have been right there at the finish line because she just looked loaded and just waiting. And the hole just never materialized. And they kind of just wrapped up on her and called it a day. But I think there's more here with this filly or this mare. Her best races are when she gets fourthly placed. I'm hoping she gets more aggressively ridden out the gate. She doesn't have to be on the lead, but she needs to be somewhat into the whip. And look, her turf numbers are not that far off what it's going to take to win this thing. And this thing is, as it looks like based on our picks, this race is so wide open. I don't want anything at a short price. So give me her in this spot. Hopefully she works out a trip, and hopefully she can get through like she did not last time.
All right, I don't know about you. I'm probably going to use as many as my budget will afford. I know I've got the 1 in the mix. I know you've actually got the 1 on top. I know the 1 and the 10 are probably the 2 speedy types I think people will kind of be keen in on. And of those 2 types, I definitely prefer the 1, especially Price. And obviously you do too.
Yeah, Price and Drawn to the Inside. I think both of those are to this one's benefit. And I don't necessarily think this is a need the lead type. I think if circumstances dictate, she could sit off. I do think, though, her best chance of winning is to go to the lead second off the layoff. The Dam was a turf router and pretty successful at it. Kyle Frey's been good with horses that have a chance and have some run in them. He's had them in really nice spots throughout the entirety of the meet. He has a good amount of confidence riding. He has to have a horse with some ability, and I think this one does have some ability. So again, I'm looking for the improvement second off the bench for Andy Mathis, who has started to heat up here past the halfway point of this Del Mar meet. So certainly one I think that deserves a chance, but Jackson mentioned it. This race is so wide open, and I think that's showcased by our picks. We're all kind of similar, but we all have some prices on top because this can certainly go any number of directions. So I can't say that I'm super confident and guilty of having fun winning, but honestly, compared to the previous races in the sequence, he's kind of up there.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think that if the 10 is super hellbent on getting the lead, I don't think she has to have it. I think she can sit. I mean, I've said it once, and I'll say it again. I think tactical speed with an inside draw is just super deadly, especially in these mile races at Del Mar on the turf. So I think she's kind of got that weapon, and we've seen it in some of her races before. And if she takes money, I probably wouldn't be super surprised as well. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't think we're getting 8-1 this horse. She's going to be half.
See, that's the issue. Yeah. Like, do you think? Okay. Do you think in horizontals we can get 6-1?
I mean, it depends what horizontal you're talking about, but yeah,
like a pick 5. But like no, vertically speaking, once the race opens, no.
Yeah.
I don't think coming out of the common race, and people are going to gravitate. If they're going to gravitate to someone else, it's going to be this filly, Jean Morel, who's speedy but doesn't need the lead, and was running 70 buyers back in April as a 3-year-old. I mean, there's a lot to like about this horse, and I don't think she's going to be nearly 8.
Agreed.
I think so too. Number 4, Hello Kiddo. I've gotten 3rd. Ryan, you've gotten 2nd. She was a maiden winner last out for your boy Labracio. Stepping up to face winners for the first time, but it just feels like one of those races where if one of those horses out of that common race just don't run very well, kind of like they did last time, I mean, it feels like it kind of be anybody, right?
Yeah, it could be. This for me was more of just a light bulb angle. Had so many tries, was 0 for 10 going into that last effort, and then somehow won and drew clear. Maybe that wasn't the best field. Maybe that was why. Maybe it was just she finally kind of figured out what her job was and that she's not supposed to finish looking at a horse's ass or two. Like maybe she finally figured out that she's supposed to win these races. So yeah, in a race that's completely wide open, I wouldn't take lower than 5-1, but I think 5-1 actually is fair, and you get a top rider like JJ Hernandez, and obviously, yeah, my guy Labracio, I'm gonna be a fan of his for some time now.
I think the key angle for me and why she won last time was she got a very big jockey upgrade. I don't think Jackson would necessarily say the same because he's had his yings and yangs with Juan Hernandez. We'll put it at that. I've actually got the 9 on top, Garden Party at 15-1. She's shown some kind of talent before. I know her figs are maybe a little bit on the lighter side, but I thought her last one was okay. I know she kind of came from way out of it, but she was really wide, especially on the far turn. She was like in the 6th or 7th path, and she was making up ground. I know the 3rd place finisher, Quantum Energy, got a really good ride that day, and I'm a little bit maybe against her in this spot just because she kind of got that inside-outside that I know, Jackson, you like to mention is a very, very good trip, especially on the turf. And we've seen riders like Hector Berrios pull that off several times. So I think if DeMuro is able to kind of save some ground and get that inside-outside, I think she's got a big look at 15-1. She was kind of the tepid top pick for me, but Jackson, I'll kind of give you the final straw for the finale.
Tough race. I would fade all the favorites. I think it's that kind of race where you just want to get a little aggressive here and don't want to settle anything for too short.
I think so
play
too.
The board. You're playing a win bet, play the board. You're going to see the will pays, and that's going to tell you a lot in a race like this where it feels a little bit like guesswork.
I think it's a really good late pick 3 sequence as well. I know the first leg is the turf sprint, right? Where the favorite's 7-2, could be a number of different horses. Even if the second leg is maybe a 2-horse race, it feels like in order for budgetary restraints, you probably got to pick one of them. And then the last race is just a cluster. So I think it's a really good sequence. We'll go to best bets. Jackson, you're going short and simple. He's going with a win bet on Speedboat Beach. I have a feeling that's not going to be your bet if that certain individual ends up showing up on Saturday. But maybe it is.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Or that gal. Sorry. Look, I thought these were 5 the most difficult races we've covered at the meet, and this is the only race I really felt strongly about, to be honest with you. So I'm just keeping it simple. I think he's the best horse in the race. I think he's got a speed edge. I think he's got a bigger edge. He's got a class edge. It's working really well. I think there's just a lot to like about this horse, and I don't like the other short prices in there. So give me him to win. He's going to go to the front. They're not going to catch him. Wins for fun.
TC with a bold statement. I like it. TC says this is definitely a harder pick 5 at Del Mar than the Saratoga Lake pick 5. Well, I guess that's maybe not that strong because
Well, you have the greatest horse to ever touch grass running in the at Saratoga, or ever touch dirt, I guess. So, obviously, that's an easier sequence.
And, after and I win the contest on Saturday, maybe I'll be the one that's moving the line on Speedboat Beach. So
there you go.
All right, then. We'll have to stay tuned for that. That is not Kyle's best. That is one of the many things that I've had on this show today. Ryan's best bets. He's going with a win play show bet. I think that's the first one that we've seen on this podcast, at least Pacific Horseplayers. I'm not sure if I'm going to condone that going forward, but anyway, he's got across the board on Awesome Rhythm, and then he's got a win bet in race 10 on Guilty of Having Fun, who we're hoping is somewhat close to the 8-1. I'm not sure we're going to get it, but
yeah.
Ryan, take it away.
Yeah, look, Awesome Rhythm. The only reason I'm playing this one across the board is because his price is going to drift up from what it is. There's so many other horses to bet in there. I think Awesome Rhythm is going to get forgotten about. And while, yes, he's absolutely a long shot to win the race, I think he can definitely finish in the money. There you go.
Yeah, you feel.
So, well, again, yeah, a long shot to win the race, but he can certainly finish second or third. I think he's got a chance. He's in good form. And then as far as Guilty of Having Fun in the last race, it's going to be board dependent. But if I can get 5-1 or better, I think I would take that. Just take a little shot. I'm looking forward to the horizontal sequence because I'm going to fade a lot of the those top choices in the Pat O'Brien because I think Speedboat Beach is just horrific. Jackson, could we make a $1 bet?
You can make a $50 bet.
Just no. I want a $1 bet that May Moon finishes ahead of Speedboat Beach.
I'll bet you dollar scratches too.
All right.
A lot of terms and conditions with that bet.
Yeah, right.
But Ryan,
that's all I got.
Cool.
Those are my bets, dog. I did it.
On Saturday, I'm with you, Jackson. I think these are some of the toughest 5 races that we've talked about within the last several months on this show, and I just went as simple as I could. I went with a win bet on Mavman. Like I said earlier, I was maybe leaning to put that on Proofy Rides, but then I saw that we were all part of that. But I got as close as only one person having the same topic as me, and that was Ryan. But Ryan's been on fire. His ROI on FanDuel is like through the roof. So
I gotta update that soon. I've been slacking.
You gotta be transparent, though, bro.
I'm trying. I'm so busy, man. Sorry.
But
continue with your takes, please.
You've been hot. I don't need anything else to say. I'm riding you. Pause. But
whoa.
With the number 4 Mav Man. I think that is gonna do it for us.
Yeah, end it.
At the final banner.
And that. Yep.
After that, this has been episode 42 of Pacific Horseplayers, covering the late pick 5 on Saturday at Del Mar. And of course, check us out next week. PHP out.